I think we can agree that batteries, if they're cheaper, could be used in more applications, and more importantly, to be used by more people. So you don't want only very wealthy people being able to buy electric vehicles, ideally. You want this to be technology that everybody can use. If we think about batteries, basically, they affect all of your life in many ways that you maybe don't even notice yet, basically every second of the day. As we are moving toward having all of the devices in our home connected, this is called the Internet of Things. Every single device you touch has a sensor in it or will have a sensor in it, and all of them have to be battery powered. So really, batteries are here to stay. So we need to find ways to make much better batteries. When I was thinking about battery chemistry, I was thinking batteries seem sort of boring. But then as I started learning about the chemistry of the materials, I was thinking these are really beautiful. This is really amazing that you can move these little ions and make them go into a structure and out of a structure hundreds of times and have them behave actually well for a long period of time. Then I started thinking about how batteries are made today. So your batteries are all one of these, whether it's a AA battery on the top left or the kind of battery you have on your phone on the bottom right, they're all made the same way. They're made of these layers that get stacked or rolled. And this to me seemed to be a really big problem because this has not changed since the 1990s when lithium-ion batteries were first invented. And I was thinking, that is just an intractable problem. And so I was learning about this because I was reading about a lot of different devices, and it seemed to me that every device I thought of was limited by the battery chemistry. And then unfortunately, that was the end of my postdoc, and I needed to find a job. And so when you have to find a job, you have to convince a university that you have these amazing ideas, and they should pay a lot for you to come and build a lab. And hopefully then your ideas will actually work. More importantly, you then need to recruit graduate students. So I didn't know anything about batteries. I'd never built a battery. But I wrote all these proposals to come do battery chemistry. And I think this actually perfectly encapsulates my personality, which is when you can't really see many steps in the future, but you can see the next couple of steps, you just jump. And you figure, well, everything is sort of a linear process. I'll just figure it out when I get there. So even though this is about New Year's resolutions, this part is perfect. I'm resolving to just wing it and see what happens.
Advice for either young women interested in going into science or parents to keep young women interested in those fields?
I'll say that I think what helps for young women, and it's hard to learn how to do this, but if you can develop a way to have a very long memory for happy things and a very short memory for difficult things, then it means that when you get a comment that's a little bit annoying or you there's sort of an obstacle, if you don't remember that part so much, but you remember the discovery or the fun, that can last you a long time. And I'm lucky in that I have a terrible memory for things I don't really want to remember, but so like for reactions, I will often, when I worked in the lab, I never remembered how many times I tried something, but I always remembered the time it worked. And that I think is a useful thing. I think the other challenge with girls, at least that I've noticed with my students, they think way too far ahead, way too much planning, when you just can't possibly know where you will be or what you'll be like. And so I try to encourage my female students to not plan so much. I think some of my male students do a much better job of, well, I'll just try it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll try something else. Whereas often the women will say, but what happens if it doesn't work? And so there's just too much planning. So I would say not so much planning and more jumping. That's a good strategy.
Very good. Well, on that note, we'll thank you all for coming, ask you to travel safely on your way home, and please join me in thanking Dr. Prieto.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That was fun.